Are we paying too much for taxes? After all, there seems to be a tax on everything these days. There's a sales tax, a tax on your income, on your bank accounts, and even on your property. There's even a death tax. But some people might say that that isn't even enough. They argue that the government needs more tax money to help fund economic programs.
See, if we raise the capital gains tax, the government will be able to sponsor many economic stimulus programs.
What if I told you that every single time the government raised the capital gains tax, government revenue went down?
No, you see, the rich have a lot of money, and because they have all this money, they should be able
You
to spend
see,
it and
if
buy
taxes
things
on goods were to raise, people would buy less goods, causing the economy to decline overall. We just can't raise the tax expecting that it will automatically raise revenue. There are certain checkpoints the tax must have. A good tax is efficient, simplistic, and equitable. But what does that all mean?
Certain? That means like the tax has high self-esteem, you know? Like it has lots of confidence, you know? It's really...
Well, an equitable tax, it's got equity. It's all equitable, if you know what I mean, equity.
Actually, a simple tax is one that everyone can understand, like a sales tax. An efficient tax is one that functions well without taking too much time. A certain tax is one that everyone is well informed about, and an equitable tax is one that's fair. However, it seems like taxes are only becoming more and more complicated. Our tax system has become far more complicated than just paying bills to the government. Not only are there federal taxes, but there's also state taxes. And then each state and community, taxes can differ, such as the sales tax. The sales tax is different in each community or state. For instance, Oregon doesn't have to pay any sales tax at all. And did you know that your income actually gets taxed twice? That's right, you get taxed by the federal and your state government for one income.
What? What kind of system would entail this ridiculousness?
The income tax, for example, is a progressive system. This is where each different income group has a different tax rate. This is much more fair than a proportional tax would be, where everyone would have the same tax rate. Or, this is far more fair than a regressive tax rate, where the rich would actually pay the least. But some people think that the rich are still not paying enough. But did you know that the top 5% of Americans are already paying 53% of our income taxes? Medicare and Social Security represent a full 34% of government spending and is paid for with our taxes. But the majority of both systems only benefit the older Americans, ages 65 and older. And because the generation of baby boomers is now aging and they are retiring earlier and earlier in order to cash into these benefits. And along with the expanding life expectancy, more people will need aid for longer.
But I like to live!
This old thing is just way too old. It doesn't even know what it is talking about. You, old thing, how would you like to give money to someone you don't even know?
Well, I do send a hearty $5 to my grandson every year for his birthday.
And do you know your grandson?
Yes, I thought so.
Also, I noticed that you're carefully trying to avoid the gift tax. Don't you feel like you need to compensate what you're taking from our government? As you can see, Medicare and Social Security costs can hike up our taxes. But wait, there are perfectly legal ways of getting out of paying these taxes. We call them tax deductions. You can qualify for tax deductions in many ways. These include having kids, giving to a charity, interest on your mortgage, some medical expenses, and state and local tax payments. This is a way to make sure paying taxes is fair. Do you think paying taxes is fair?
I guess. My parents pay taxes, but they make funny faces when they talk about them. You wanna buy some cookies, mister? How many should I put you down for? You like smallest? Huh? By the way,
Here's me working with my sister, Joan Stossel. She works for the IRS. So Joan, what is it that you exactly do?
Well, John, I mostly just collect taxes, but occasionally I get to enforce the Internal Revenue laws. But did you know, John, that it was the IRS that eventually caught Al Capone? Not the police, the IRS.
Well, Joan, how much on average does the IRS collect annually?
Well, John, in 2006 we collected about $2.5 trillion.
Well, hot damn, Joan. That is a lot of money.
Yes, it is, John.
Well, Joe, what's going on?
Well, John, that is the whistleblower alert. It means that someone has just blown the whistle on someone who's been evading their taxes at the IRS. If the cheating amounts to over $2 million on your taxes, we will award you the Whistleblower Award.
Well, Joan, those people are the scum of the earth.
Well, John, I concur.
Well, John, splendid.
Wait a minute, John. You're John and I'm Joan.
What's that, Joan? No, Joan.
Wait a minute. No, you're Joan. John.
Joan.
No,
John.
Joan.
Jimmy? No. Wait, who's Jimmy?
You're Joan, and I'm Joan, and you're Joan.
No,
Wait,
Jimmy.
Joan?
No,
Joan?
Jimmy. Who's Jimmy?
Johnny.
Joan.
Joan.
John. You. Joan.
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 John.
Yes.
Joan.
John Jingleheimer Schmidt.
Come on, John. You're Joan.
Ah!
I mean, you're John.
John.
And I'm John. No,
John.
John. You're John.
Jimmy.